All right, so I'll go ahead and give you a disclaimer. To start off with, I am not an expert at animation, and I don't claim to be a really good animator. I don't claim to be that at all. So, just so you know, I am probably very, very amateur, I guess you would say. So, I definitely don't practice enough. I can tell you that. Now, why did that skeleton go all the way down here? I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, so another bug. Just move your keyframe once and then move it back. It should correct itself. Yep. So what I'm going to do actually is I am going to come over here to the UEFN character. I'm going to select this global control here. And I'm going to set the both arms to be in IK mode. So yeah. We actually kind of need some buffer frames in here. Yeah, so we can actually make this a little bit longer than 15 frames. Yeah, we'll add the buffer frames last. Basically what the buffer frames are is it's for blending. So whenever we're blending in, those are the frames we'll blend over. In some cases, if you just start blending into the animation, in some cases, depending on the animation, and I don't think this probably needs one, so it may be all right as long as we're in the aiming state. But yeah, if we weren't in the aiming state and we started blending into this, then it could look a bit weird if we were releasing this like right off the bat. So yeah, so since we know we're already going to be in the aiming state, then we need to start this from the aiming state. And so what we're going to do is actually we're going to I guess we could move the fingers out there, and we'll start actually no, this is a bit trickier than what I'm used to here, guys. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to decide. First, I just want to go ahead and create a pose where he's actually grabbing for the arrow back here, and the bow will be doing its thing. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is right here on frame 5, I'll just go ahead and from here to frame 5 would probably work. Yeah, let's start like that. Yeah, so just those. Yeah, this is going to go beyond frame 5. We're going to release it right here on this. So I guess these first 2 frames will be buffer frames. And I'll probably add a little bit of movement in there but that'll just be blending purposes mostly, I guess. Or no. Actually, let me just go ahead and start it right here. So I know that this and then this and this, yeah. So I'm going to select these. And in actuality, we actually want to overshoot. So I'm going to come back over to these. And I'm going to rotate these just a little bit this way. Except, actually, these. I don't want that to be clipping right there. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to copy this and paste that pose. This is the pose I'm going to zero this all out on. No, we're not going to do that right here, actually. We want to step this down like it's reverberating back and forth after we let it go, which is how I made that other one look a little, I think, realistic, but yeah. Yeah. So it comes in, and we actually want to overshoot. And I'm just going to undo that there. I'm going to do this about 1.10, somewhere around there. Actually, I don't want to do it on this one, just the second to the 8th one. And I'm just going to adjust that a little bit, I guess. That might be a little bit too much. I think I was pretty conservative the last time, but I'm brushing it a bit here. I'm just going to yeah, that's a little bit too strong, and it lasts a little bit too long. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tone this right here down a little bit. So it goes 6, and it goes this way 6, and then it comes back this way 3, and then it goes this way 1.5. We'll just step it down, and then 0. Yeah. I think that probably looks okay. Let me put it into this mode so I can see it a little better. By pressing G. I feel like the reverberation could last a little bit longer. So the timing can sometimes be the most difficult. I think that looks about right. But I feel like it should be stepping down. And a lot of the times when you're doing animations like this, you actually step it down. Like, you know, you might have 3 and then 2 and then 1, but this has to happen fairly fast. So maybe it would be 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. I don't know. Maybe it would get slower, I guess, the reverberations. I think that looks okay. Oh, I seen what I was doing there. Right there. And then that, it was just kind of snapping between those. Might have too many reverberations right there. No, that's too slow. Yeah, there's not enough time to really put a lot of spacing right there because this happens too fast, and it's a, you know, it's a fast animation. I mean, I could do that, have that part start off fast, and then have it reverberate a little bit slower. 1 and then 2 and then 1, since that's not much distance to cover. It just feels a little too forced. I think it looks best right there like that. It just gives a little bit more time to actually see what's happening. All right, so everything else is going to be moving a lot too, along with this as well. So we're not just going to be animating the bow, but we're also going to be animating the character itself. And we're going to rotate the hand. Back here like this to grab an arrow out of the quiver. And obviously we're not just going to move our arm because that would look kind of weird, you know, like if this was the animation, it would be looking pretty bad. Not that it looks great when we're done, but we'll see how well it turns out. So let's see, whenever I go to reach, if I go to reach with my right hand, yeah, I'm kind of visualizing right now how I might grab it. Yeah, and it's always a good idea to actually look at references, guys. That's actually the way you should be doing it, is you should be looking at references. So we could try to see if, let's see. Let's see. I don't know where these guys are grabbing their arrows from, but obviously not from a quiver on their back. And we kind of would like to, oh, it's from, the arrows are actually on the bows themselves. Okay. Okay, here's one. So that's kind of how we Yeah, that's kind of how we want it. Yeah, so she... Okay. I'll try to get it to be something like that. So we'll need to move our elbow target back like that. And I'm switching between local and world here. Let's see here. I guess I kind of want to grab it up here. If we're going to be honest, we actually want it to be grabbing them from up here. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly precise because we're going to probably cheat and just have it spawned and interpolated later into the hand. But anyway, it's going to happen. It's going to happen fast. And right now, I'm not going to go through the trouble of actually having him have it attached to the hand in the actual game. I don't think I'm going to do that because that's a lot of work, actually. So, but I could, you know, do something like that. And so what you would end up doing, I told you I would show you what I was talking about whenever you actually grab it. Yeah, so you would know that right here on frame 5, this is the pose where you're grabbing it. So on the animation, you'd actually, on the montage itself, you'd actually add an anim notify or a montage notify event right here where this happens. So yeah, it looks like she is turning a little bit. It's hard to tell because the camera is shaking so bad, but it looks like she is rotating the spine this way. Let me get this out. So, yeah, rotating the spine this way. That's what it looks like to me anyway. So we'll have her rotate and so I'll have it rotate like let's see. Try to reposition this here. Something like that. Put this back in world space. And let's see. Yeah, so I actually want to lower that and rotate that to something like this. Yeah, so that's starting to look like an actual animation. But we're not done yet. We still need more movement. And I'm going to I don't know who the hell is outside screaming at the top of their lungs. Any other day, I'm telling you right now, nobody'd be making any noise. Now all of a sudden it's like all hell is breaking loose. I'm going to select all of these controls right here because of the fact that these are an IK, and if I move this independent, then they won't move with it. And I actually do want this to move. And then I'm going to rotate this because I'm actually putting weight on my right leg. So I think it might actually look better if I do this. So, I mean, it's probably not going to come out looking like the best you've ever seen. Let's see. Have I been doing this? Okay, yeah, I'm doing this on the base layer because, I mean, there's no animation that I'm doing this over the top of, so there's no sense in doing it from an additive track. You can still do that though. You can use anim layers and have things layered where you do where you like do the lower body first, and then you do the torso, and then you do the arms on top of that. Like you know, that is a technique that is used. Like I told you though, I'm still pretty immature, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not an expert at animation, but what we can do is we can actually set this to body controls space, or we could make it spine 3 space. Let's make it chest space. Yeah. Let's put this in chest space. And I actually want this to be in chest space too. You can only do this from the base layer, by the way. You can only change the space. So just be aware of that. I want these to be in chest space as well. And so the reason why I'm doing that is because I actually want to adjust this because I feel like maybe I might have messed up on that. Like maybe I should have been leaning this way. Let me see. I think the pelvis movement is too much. And what we would probably want to do, actually, I guess, I think I kind of liked that. leaning this way more, and have them leaning back more. So I think I like that more. Got to be careful with this because of character creator characters. If somebody comes in here and wants to reuse this, they're going to have a hard time either way probably. So I'm not really too worried about it. So what I like to do is separate these like this. And really, I'm only worried about this first part of it. I think what's happening is this right here is rotating too dramatically. And since I've separated that motion, it did mess this up right here because it was an IK, and I thought because it was in chest space that maybe that wouldn't happen, but no, it still happened, as you can see. Yeah, so if I just end it right there, it kind of stops abruptly. Yeah. Yep, so now we'll just, what we could do is we could actually physically attach that arrow to the hand in this animation. We could do that, I suppose, but this is a blueprint. It's not actually in the scene. Yeah. Hand L. Nope, I did not want it to do that. Why did it go gray? This is, yeah, it's kind of aggravating. Sometimes these attachment things can come out like really, yeah, I'm just gonna undo it. It looked like it was doing something there, but I don't know what it was doing. I'd probably be better off actually like adding an arrow in here and then just attaching it to that and then moving the attachment over. It'd probably be easier for me to handle it that way, because I'm not used to moving things from a blueprint and then attaching it to something like that. So I'm on frame 0, so I'm going to attach it to, let's see, Yeah, so it won't actually let me attach it to something on the blueprint, which kind of makes it difficult. Yeah, I might do a rain check on that. Guys, I guess ideally what you'd probably do is actually add like a socket there. I guess you could do that. You could add a socket for the arrows to actually be attached to. That's probably something you could do. So I guess I could try that. So if I open this up, I could say arrow 1. And I could copy these over. And that should work. And then attach it to arrow 1 and zero that out. There we go. I'll just remove that. And now on frame 5, I can actually just attach this, preserve current, to the hand. Yeah, we'd probably end up needing a bone to attach it to. And we'd probably end up needing to animate the bone if we were really trying to go for like realism or whatever. I don't know why it seems to not be attached to the hand, even though I just attached it to the hand. Yeah, I don't. Okay, let's do this, guys. This is the whole like attachment system in Unreal Engine. Like if you did this anywhere else, it would be so easy for you to figure out. But inside of Unreal Engine, forget it. They just inside of Unreal Engine, they really don't want you to know how this stuff works. Apparently, I guess, or they just don't want it to actually be to actually make sense. So just use this constraint system right here for this one. Otherwise, you're just making it more difficult on yourself than what it needs to be. And I'm just going to attach it to that. Maintain offset. And we don't want to maintain offset for that one, but we do for this one. Yeah, and so we're going to actually rotate this and move it up. Make sure it's not sticking out anywhere. In actuality, I think we'd actually want to grab it like what we would be grabbing it. So what I probably need to do actually is temporarily remove that. And then we'd actually kind of want to grab it like this, if that makes any sense. Yep, so I never said this was going to be easy. It's still not. Yeah, so anyway, this is going to be really difficult to do. Even more difficult than making that rifle equip. But yeah, you'd want to, like, I don't know. If we come up here to this, I can show you how you can actually, like, if we come back over here, we can actually make this dynamic. And then that would actually allow us to, like, rotate it in the hand, but not ideally. Yeah, you wouldn't do it like this. Yeah, ideally you wouldn't do it like that. You would actually have this attached to a bone, and then you'd have to turn some tricks to get it to actually, like, come out looking right. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like I kind of jumped the gun there on my stuff. Let me just undo this, I guess. Because I actually need to key this here before I swivel this around. And what I'd probably end up doing is coming back here and constraining a bone to it. That's probably what I'd end up doing. Yeah, you can use the tween machine too. But you'll see it kind of has a tendency to gimbal lock. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want that to look quite as jerky. It looks like we accidentally sent this back to, I don't know how that happened. Oh, right. So we need to, right. So if you open that up, you'll see that we have that keyed right here too. You can also just delete those keys. So it's only keyed on the first frame and it'll persist across the entire thing. We could, I guess, we could go halfway here and then have it meet it kind of like halfway there, as you can see. And then we could, oh, I forgot that I have these are still in spine space or chest space. So we can move that back to parent space, I guess. Or we could even put it in world space if we wanted to, but I think it's okay like this. We could put it in body space. And then we should be able to rotate this like so. And then we want to return to this original pose. So what we're going to do is copy this and paste it right. Nope, my bad. Paste it right there on frame 20. I guess this is going to be a 20 frame one. And yeah, we need to extend this. Right. So, no, that's going to desynchronize it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the, I guess I'm trying to find the attach. Okay. That's the wrong one. Right, I need the, here it is. Yeah, okay, I was looking at the wrong thing then. I'm trying to figure out what's causing the hands to go up. Oh, yeah, so it could have something to do with this. Let's see, probably not, but no, that's not it. So, but it does have something to do with me copying that pose over there. Yeah. It's because of the spaces. I changed the spaces. Hopefully changing this back to parent will fix this interpolation issue. Yeah, there it goes. And you can turn the tweens off too. Not sure if you're even using that, but we need to update the bow pose too. And we basically need to do the same thing there as well. And let's see if it, let's see how it looks. So you could probably ignore that weird issue with the arm slapping around. Let's see. That's probably that's probably only going to show up in here. What we could do, just to be safe, I can show you something. So this is our animation. We can go to the sequencer. You see all this stuff here. Yeah. We can select all this stuff and we can do a Euler filter. And that should maintain the animation, but it should change things so that we don't get gimbal lock and then always play it, obviously. Yeah, so it looks like it's still doing it. It's probably just a sequencer thing, so I probably won't worry about it too much. It looks like it does it when it wraps back around, and it looks like a gimbal locking problem. But yeah, this arm needs some work, and I think the pelvis is moving a little bit too much. Yeah, and you'll see this is kind of like Yeah, so what we actually want to do is I actually want to delete that. So I'm doing this in local space. Actually, I'm going to do this right here. I think that's just a little bit too much. And yeah, we'd probably end up needing to come back through here and modify some things anyway. This is kind of problematic here. And we can, oh, I don't know what I deleted. Let me undo that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I think that looks a little bit better. Anyway, like I said, I'm not an expert animator. Guys, you'll see some weird movement of the arm right there. That's probably a bug. I actually have not animated the head. So I know this is frame 5. I'm probably not gonna, I'm gonna try not to do it too much there. Just adding a little bit of shoulder movement there too. And then we can always like cut those later. And if we need to add buffer frames, we can add buffer frames for blending. Well, I guess we'll have to see. It's easier to add buffer frames later than to do it right now, I guess. So, okay, so I told you that what I would do is I would actually show you how to bind this animation to this same sequence. I should be able to, I think this will work. So this animation is a little bit more than a half a second long, but I think that'll be okay. It'll just mean that like during this part of the animation, we may end up blending back into this part right here, which would mean that we would either need more buffer frames on the, a couple of buffer frames on the beginning, or we would need to extend the delay between shots beyond half a second. Yeah, so that'd be 60.66 would probably be about right. That's, yeah, we went a little bit more than half a second, but we could always speed this up too. You know, we could always speed these animations up a little bit as well. So, yeah, that's always a possibility. So let's go ahead and we can create a linked animation sequence right here for the bow blueprint. I think this will work for the bow. I'm not going to promise you anything, but let's see. I'm going to call this fire and reload. Yeah, so we have this one, bow aiming. That's definitely, we're going to rename this fire and reload. And since I did rename this, what I'm going to do is right click on this and update the redirectors just to be safe. Always do that. Now, if we come back over here to the blueprints, you know, under bow actions, you should see, yeah, you should see the montage for the bow. And this will be synchronized with that other montage, the one on the character. So what we need to do is we just need to make sure this gets fired at the same time on the bow. So whenever this fire event happens, actually, better yet, I don't have event dispatchers here. I'm gonna go ahead and so let's see. This is going to be fired right here. Right here on this. Actually, right here. We could fire it immediately after, or we could fire it immediately before. I'm not sure it's actually going to matter. It's going to be one tick behind either way. That's just how it's going to be. I might end up having to add something into here where we can actually just add, where we can actually have it fire the animation montages, or we can have this handle it for us. I'll probably end up doing that. So I might end up having to come back and redo this part of it. So if I change the way that this works right here, then the very next video after this one will be going over that part of it. But right now I just kind of want to get this up and running. Yeah, so we have this fire event. What I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to bind an event to that event. Yeah, so whenever that event fires, then I'll have it play that montage on this. That's how I'm going to do it for now. So first of all, we need to make this a montage. Right here. Let's see. I guess because this isn't a character, they don't have that other access to that other montage event, do they? No. Well, no, it shouldn't be that way. I'm not used to playing montages on things that are not characters, so I might be expecting it to have that other one when it's not supposed to. Yeah, so the other one has an event off of here for handling montage notifies. So this one does not. So this one can't handle, it can't capture montage notifies, which you might actually end up wanting to handle from this. Since this is a bow, you would probably actually not want the projectile to be fired until that event fired. So that is actually an oversight, something I didn't consider. So in actuality, I believe, actually, no, that's right. I'm firing this right off the bat. I didn't add any buffer there. It fires immediately. The second this plays, it's already firing. Okay, that's right. So that it'll probably be okay like this then. So let's come over to the bow, and for the fire right here, we will create a montage for this. And hopefully it doesn't crash. It's acting like it's going to crash. It didn't. Cool. Come on. Any day now. Okay, so we'll just have that as, and hopefully this will be enough. All right. And hopefully it'll be synchronized too. Where is that? Oh, I forgot. So that's my fault. Because I made that other one spawnable instead of duplicating it. I never duplicated it. Oh, yeah, so you'll see what happens right there. Looks weird. Yeah. So we'll fix that. So sorry, there was somebody outside and it sounded like they were opening my door for a second. All right, so what we want to do is we want to play this on the post layering upper body. And then we want to play an additive version of this. So we'll duplicate this one and call it add. And yes, it does mean that it takes up twice as much memory. But there's no other way to handle it like this, not easily. It's kind of weird. there are limitations to what you can actually do with Unreal Engine. I think I could make this, yeah, let's make this local space, frame from this animation, and frame 0 is fine. I think a local space additive is probably fine for this. Well, I think that's appropriate. I don't think you would want a mesh space one. I think that's how I did it on the other ones. I made it, I made them local space, not mesh space. And then you can just drag that into here. And then this should, yeah, so you'll see. Now it doesn't interrupt it. So you'll see it kind of, it's because of the blending, it's still blending in whenever all that happens. So yeah, we might end up wanting to make buffer frames, but what you can do for now is I could probably just set the blend time down to 0.1. But I'd probably want to go back and add buffer frames. You see. Yeah, because it kind of happens a little too fast. It's still blending in whenever it plays. And if I set it like this, then you'll be able to tell more just how much of that animation ends up getting lost. But you'll see that it pops whenever it finishes. Yeah, I think maybe I need to just slow down the animation. We'll do 0.2, 0.2, and we'll slow down the animation by like 0.75. And we'll try this. Because you do want blending. I'm not really entirely sure what's going on with that. Oh, I think we still have some IK or something going on here. Let me see. Let me look at the rifle actions. Always look at these if in doubt. Disable hand IK and exclude weapon bones. Yeah. So we'll probably want these same curves here. We could probably copy those and open up this one and then paste. Yeah, and it looks like that works. Hopefully that's all that we needed. Yeah, maybe the animation just needs some work. Maybe. I didn't really make it for that slower speed. Yeah, I'll probably go through and work on that animation. You'll see it's rotating actually. Okay, so it doesn't do this if I'm moving to the left or to the right. But if I'm moving back or moving forward, that's when it does it. That's weird. I'll look into that. I'm not exactly sure what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I'll look into it, and tomorrow I will probably be able to explain this weird issue where it's like he's looking and turning to the left as we're blending out of that animation, which is not supposed to happen. So I'll look into it.